You've been asking and I finally found it, an adorable mini art set that doubles as an art block killer. So let's test it out. I've been trying to practice watercolor but honestly haven't had the motivation. That is, until I stumbled upon Tobios, who's also this video's sponsor. When I'm starting out with a new medium, I hate it because I suck. But this mini kit is perfect for helping that. It comes with the cutest wooden palette you can fold up and not worry about your paint spilling. You also get a clip to hold the palette onto the sketchbook. Now this sketchbook, I love it. It's awesome. This one made me paint more because half the pages are outlined already, so I don't have to come up with ideas. Plus, instead of worrying about a separate water container and brush, you also get the adorable watercolor brush. All you have to do, unscrew the back, fill with water, and paint. You also get this armband. It can be used as a paper towel to help in between colors. You get a vibrant version of all the basics, but honestly, all you really need are blue, red, yellow, and white. But you don't have to just paint inside. This is made for travel. So I decided to do an outdoor art session. If you fill up the paints beforehand, this is all you really need. And honestly, I love the golden glow of the wood. It looks beautiful in sunlight. So while they do have pages that are blank where you can paint whatever you'd like, it's a lot faster and I think it's easier to work with art block if you already do one that's figured out. So this strawberry was already outlined. I mean, I draw strawberries all the time, so it really works. But it's helpful for understanding the shading and the lighting and just painting without having all the thoughts that just prevent you from creating. Plus, you can play around with colors. The left side of the palette is meant to mix colors. That's why you can only use the primaries, the blue, the red, the yellow, and you'd be perfectly fine. Something that people might not realize is also, if you go out in public and you're trying to paint or create, lots of times when people see a huge setup, they see the easel, they see all the paints, they see the massive canvas, tons of people end up walking by. They try to look, they try to see, and I personally hate that. I do not like people looking because it gets in my head and it makes me feel really embarrassed. So with this setup, obviously I have my snacks, but no one can really tell what I'm doing. This is the smallest sketchbook and smallest palette. The paints you can't even see. You don't even have to bring the paints. So when you're working like this, it's really focused on you and your own time. And if you want people to know, they can. But this way, no one's really crowding around you, trying to see what you're doing. As I'm painting this landscape, you'll see that for the green and for the brown, I also add in yellow. Yellow is a very bright color, it helps with vibrancy. It's also green's analogous color. So if you want some brighter green, if you want some lighter spots, and you don't just want to mix white, because that'll become a little dull, if you use yellow instead, it becomes a lot brighter and it gives a different type of dimension and energy to the painting. Since you only have one brush, it also works well for details. So the tip of this brush is very fine. This is where you can go in, you can add the lines for the streams. This is where I'm gonna add some blades of grass, but honestly, you can paint thick or thin. You also can control the amount of water that you use. So this is where if you wanna paint with the paint, go for it. If you wanna add more water, if you want it to flow, if you want greater surface area, then you can just add a ton of water. I haven't practiced color theory with watercolor that much, but let me tell you, I learned a lot doing this. First is, when you are starting off, let the first layer dry completely. So I'm painting a red apple. Green is red's complementary color, so it's on the opposite side of the color wheel. This also means that if you layer them together, you can get a darker color. If you layer red underneath green, you can get a darker green. Or if you layer green under red, you can get a darker red. Now, I did not really know that I had to let the first layer dry as much. Again, I'm not as used to watercolor, that's why I'm trying to practice and learn. Same with the leaf. So green's analogous color is blue. Analogous colors are more similar and they're next to each other on the color wheel. For green, you have yellow, which makes it vibrant and bright, or you have blue, which makes it darker. I ended up using that versus the complementary color just because I really like the combination of blue and green, but you can really do either. For watercolor, I also recommend doing multiple layers. In here, I'm adding some brightness with yellow into the apple, especially around the highlight. So for this, I'm trying to make near the stem darker and on the left side darker. I want the light and the highlight to come from the right, so that's why I don't really put that much of the darker layer underneath on the right side, just because I want it brighter. Honestly, I am pleasantly surprised. I did not think that it would end up this good, but I'm proud. My favorite plan to use the sketchbook's free pages is to use them as practice pages. So I was just in the park. Obviously, there's tons of trees around. So I decided I wanted to practice how to watercolor trees. Again, I mentioned I learned the thing about layering. So I'm trying to figure out if you add color when the area is already wet, it disperses and it creates more of a blend. Versus if you let it dry, this is where the layering and you'll be able to add the details and the dots, because here, if I'm adding dots of dark green to the bunches of the leaves, it blends in, so it doesn't actually create the leaf texture or anything. So that's what I'm using these practice pages for. I'm also trying to figure out different ways to paint trees. So here I have, I'd call it the traditional, the big puffy cloud top, but there's other ways to do it. So this other one is sort of like a cone or a teardrop, and seeing how the darkness and the light affect each of these. Also for watercolor, keep in mind, I did not know this as well, white is very difficult to add back. When you're watercoloring, I think maybe going from darkest to lightest is easier just because you leave a lot of space for the white. White watercolor doesn't really show up. If you do just the white paint, that's different. But getting the page color of that whiteness, keeping that is very important. And it's something that I did not do. So lesson learned, we have more practice pages for a reason. What I'm finding out is I'm also very impatient. I knew that before, but with watercolor, having to wait in between each layer is very difficult for me. So if you are also like me, I'd recommend having a low fan near you, or if you're outside, direct sunlight helps it a lot. Blowing on watercolor though does not work. If it is wet and you blow on it, it will spread in every single way and it will destroy the shape that you created. So don't do that. I honestly didn't expect to like this kit as much as I did. I thought I would because it's adorable and it's mini and you guys wanted to see what it would be like, but I like it a lot more than I thought because there's a lot of possibilities and I don't have to use my brain as much, and I think that's my favorite part. So if you're looking for something affordable, cheap, that you can bring around, I definitely recommend this. So thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next, and I'll see you next time.